Okay, I know I've said I'm not a huge fan of buying prepared food from the store, but there are times when it really does become a huge time saver and is very economical. So today's project is to make some enchiladas. And when we make enchiladas, we make 4 meals worth of enchiladas, because in the time it takes you to do 1 tray, you can do 4 trays. And then the next 3 times you eat enchiladas, all you do is pull out a tray of enchiladas, pour some sauce on it, and you're done. And it's that fast. So we're gonna walk you through that. What I've got here is all of the fixins that I need to make 4 trays of enchiladas. So I have 24 tortillas, there's 6 enchiladas per tray. I've got 2 onions, I've got 2 cans of chopped olives, I've got 2 cans of Hatch whole green peppers, and I've got a pound of jack cheese. I've got 1 rotisserie chicken shredded and prepped. And I have a chicken breast, a huge chicken breast over here split, so it actually looks like 2 chicken breasts. Now here's the thing about the rotisserie chicken. It's really salty. So when we make chicken soup with rotisserie chicken, we don't use any stock, any salt or salted stock at all. We use the unsalted stock because there's so much salt in here that it'll leach out into the soup. Likewise with my prep here, I'm not going to use salt at all because this is so salty. Along with the cheese, it comes out perfectly every time without using any extra salt. So this is one of those meals that I know that I'm getting my salt here, so I'm not going to do it otherwise. All right, so I've got my chicken breast split here. I'm just going to throw some garlic powder on, or garlic on them. I'm going to do some black pepper. It doesn't matter what you put on them. All I'm doing, since the rotisserie chicken doesn't have a whole lot of extra spice on it, I'm just throwing some spice on here. And I'm going to flip those over and do the same on this side. This is just a little bit of cumin, a little bit of black pepper, and the garlic that's on the other side. That doesn't matter. We're all good. Okay, then this is going to go on a screaming hot grill until it's done. And then we'll be back and I'll show you how we put it all together. All right, so I've got the 2 chicken breasts. They're not necessarily cooked all the way through because we're going to cook them again. So I'm using the chicken precaution. I'm keeping all my raw meat over here. And so this guy, I'm just going to cut him up. Actually, that's a terrible knife for that job. So we're going to do this. And think bite-sized pieces. Think pieces that if you bit into it in an enchilada, you wouldn't have to like pull half the enchilada apart. So I'm looking, about that big. Just kind of cutting each one down. Some of this is cut all the way through, but you'll notice that some of the meat is still raw. So we're doing our raw chicken over here separate from the rest of our food because we are going to cook it again. So once I get this cut up, I can super easy get it right into the pan over there. But first what I want to do is finish cutting up my onions. So I've got 1 whole onion here. I've got my 2 cans of olives. I'm going to do one more onion, and just a rough chop. Again, it's all going into the enchilada, so you don't have to worry about how finely chopped it is. All your handiwork is going to be hidden in the enchilada. So we'll just cut that up. Same thing here. Cut that up. And then we'll move all this over to the hot pan. We do not have an onion ingestion unit at the house, so Ruby's not going to get any of these tonight. I'm going to bring these guys over here. And I've got a hot pan going. I'm going to start it with just some oil to do my onions in. And once the onions are about halfway cooked, I will add the chicken, and I'll show you what we do with the rest of it in just a sec. So the onions are all softening. They're not quite cooked all the way through yet, but I'm going to go ahead and add my chicken from before, so that it all kind of arrives at the same time. We get that right down onto the pan. And all I'm looking for is just for the chicken to get just done. And then we will, we'll be adding the rest of the stuff. And we'll do that in a second. Okay, so the chicken's all done cooking. The smoke alarm wants to do its weekly test. I'm just gonna add that store-bought chicken, and then I'm gonna add my 2 cans of black olives. I'm gonna stir all this up. I'm just gonna get the chicken coated, because remember, the store-bought chicken's already cooked. The chicken we added with all the flavor on it is all cooked. So at this point, we're done, and we can move on to filling the enchiladas. All right, so we'll do that in just a sec over at the cutting board. Okay, so this recipe is all about making 4 batches of enchiladas. So I've got 6 corn tortillas per pan. I've got 2 cans of whole grain chilies. So I'm gonna drain these. And then I'm gonna turn this into 24 strips of chili. All you have to do is that. And then we're gonna make 24 of them. For the cheese, I'm gonna start by cutting this in half. That means that half is gonna be 12 and the other half is gonna be another 12. I'm gonna cut this in half again. Each of these is gonna be 6. And then I'm gonna cut these into cheese sticks as well. So we'll just cut that, do the same thing here, and then cut it right down the middle. So that when I'm done, I'm gonna have 24 equal, ready to go setups. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got 24 equal doses of cheese and chili. I've got 6 tortillas in this pan. I'm gonna take 4 out because I just wanna start with 2. And then I've got my chicken mix. So the way that you make this come out even is just imagine quarters. And then I actually scoop it out because it helps keep me honest. I scoop that out. And that's about 1/4 of the filling. So now this I'm gonna stretch into 6 tortillas. So we're gonna go 2 tortillas down, cheese and pepper, 1/3 of the filling, about like that. And then roll them onto themselves like that. This is where having a helper really helps, but right now she's helping me by videoing, so I'm gonna use my silent partner there. And then I'm gonna do 6 more. We're gonna load up this pan, and then I'm gonna load all 4 pans. Now I know you're wondering, what about these plastic pans? How am I gonna do that? Well, I'll show you that in a second. All right, so that's it. We've got 4 trays of enchiladas, 6 per tray. I've got them in glass and in plastic because the glass ones we're gonna cook tonight and give to the neighbors, and the plastic ones are gonna go in the freezer so that the next time we want enchiladas, all we do is pull the plastic tray out, slap the frozen enchiladas into a clean glass tray and let them thaw, and then we'll throw them in the oven just like you're gonna see in just a minute when we actually cook dinner. But this is just such a super easy way to do 4 meals, because MJ and I will each eat 2 of these, and then we'll have 1 each for lunch. So that's 2 meals right there. And it just took us the same amount of time as if we'd made 1 tray. And so I love this technique. All right, so you get home, and all you have to do is take the foil off. Do you know how you know you're old? You might know what this end is for, but do you know what this end is for? Yeah. Pop the top on your enchilada sauce. I use green, you can use red. Just goes right over the top. That's all you gotta do. And then we're gonna throw it in a 425-degree oven for, I don't know, 30, 35 minutes till it's all bubbly and gorgeous. And when I come back, I'll show you what this looks like when we pull it out of the oven. So it's been about, I don't know, 35 minutes, something like that, and that's how they come out. So they get all crispy on the outside, they're bubbling. Just grab 2 of these guys and then plate them up. Usually I'll let them sit for just a little bit, but I wanted you to see how gooey they come out because they're beautiful. We'll just plate them like that. I'm gonna steal the other side of these because I like the crispy bits. Ooh, yeah. Serving them up with a little bit of black beans. And MJ and I decided if you guys are interested, we could do a whole series on some of the sides that we do. But that's enchiladas. And the thing I know is I got next door neighbors that are totally stoked because they got a tray of these. We have 2 more trays already cooked up. Already in the freezer. And all we got to do is throw sauce on them and it's dinner time. So I love you guys. You have a good night.